Here's this if you want it. It's a pretty bright flashlight.
Okay, see, right here you got plumbing.
Oh, that's not plumbing. That's for our vac system. The house has an internal vac system that plugs into the wall. Yep, that's what that is.
So you can move that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be completely taken out. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Melissa, and today we are going to go over the story of what happened with the flooding of my basement with my septic system. This is not for aesthetics. I'm freezing. It is very, very gloomy. It is the dreariest of January days. So I got a big book for the aesthetic of it, and I'm going to tell you the story of what happened to my basement. And it was the evening of December 31st, 2022. And we had come back from East Tennessee. So my son's dad's side of the family lives in East Tennessee, about 4 hours from where we are here in Middle Tennessee. And we had gone over there to build a swing set for I still call them my nieces, for his aunt's children, basically. And we were on our way back. And just from the trip that day and everything else, me and Robert did not make it to welcome in the new year. We had fallen asleep very, very early. We fell asleep at like 10 o'clock at night, maybe even earlier than that. It was maybe even 9. And Bradley, being the super, super considerate child that he is, after watching the ball drop with his grandmother, with my mother, he had to use the bathroom before he went to sleep. And he didn't want to flush the toilet in the hall bathroom because it has a wall that borders our bedroom. I know, he's the sweetest kid ever. So he ended up going downstairs and using my mom's bathroom downstairs. And so it was upon his flush, though, that the initial rumbling began, that first deep gurgle in our pipes let out its rasp. And it ended up basically just flooding underneath the toilet. He said that water just spewed up, and he went and got my mom. But it wasn't an alarm. It still didn't register that it was a septic issue, because this is an older house, and we've had the pipes clogged just from toilet paper backup, and so the plunger was upstairs. It's midnight. It's 12:30, and everyone just wanted to go to bed. So my mom cleaned up the water. I was like, in the morning, we'll go let them know, and we'll get the plunger, and we'll clean it out. It's not a big deal. But in the morning, not knowing, we woke up way before they did. I started doing chores, and so like before my mom had even woken up, I had done the dishes, I had done a load of laundry, I had showered, and I was in the process of running the dishwasher when it backflowed. And so it started with the toilet. The toilet just overflowed, and we were smelling something. We were smelling poop. And we looked in there, and it's like coming out of the toilet. It's flowing out out of the shower onto the floor, goes over the tile, and then just sinks down underneath the hardwoods. And I don't like ladies out there, and I'm sure it's not all men, but most of the men that I've encountered, if you want to know what like the one male kryptonite is, it's feces. And so I've met some that after having kids and like doing diaper duty, they get better with it, but still, if it's a choice, in my experience, if you give a man a choice whether or not he has to clean up feces or you have to clean up feces, he will allow you to clean up the feces on his behalf, and he will do all the construction work after without asking for help, as long as you clean up the poop. So I'm looking at Robert, I'm letting him know I've got the cleanup, we're going to figure it out. And then we just break off into our separate task forces to do what we needed to do. So he immediately started with, let's get the water shut off, let's isolate the issue, let's make sure it's septic. He goes on that hunt, ends up eventually, getting the water drained out of those floors, pulling up the hardwoods immediately, getting a fan on it. That way we didn't have mold or anything like that. And then I'm on the phone with insurance. So it was New Year's Day that we woke up to this. So I knew that we weren't going to be getting anyone out there that day. And we were correct. We had to wait until the following morning to get someone out. So for the rest of our day, we basically were trying to get everything as prepared as we could for what was to come. So on the note of insurance and being prepared for what's to come, I'm going to call like ma tips, life tips, things that I didn't know, and I don't know how you really would know until you're facing it head on. But maybe, like me, you'll recall something that you heard in a video 3 years ago when the situation presents itself, and maybe you will now know how to better handle the situation. So I'm originally from southern Florida, and I did not grow up, like, there's not a lot of septic in West Palm Beach. Where I moved from in central Florida, yes, we had septic, but it was never something that I personally was responsible for maintaining or dealing with. Robert is not originally, but he moved here from San Ysidro, Southern California, another area that is not big on septic. You have city well and you have city sewer, or city water and city sewer. So neither one of us had experienced it prior to this. So thing number one, if you have to call a septic company out to pump your septic system, they will charge you extra money if they have to dig out the caps on your septic tank. So how a septic tank is kind of built, imagine a propane tank, a big propane tank, 1,000-gallon, 500-gallon propane tank shaped thing that they bury under the ground, and it has caps on it. It's got a back cap and it's got a top cap. So that's what your septic tank looks like buried under the ground. And how they pump it is that they expose one of those caps, they shove a huge pipe down in it, and they suck the poop and everything that is in your septic tank out. If you expose the places that they need to pump out of, it will save you money. So if you're tight on money and this happens, if you can figure out where those caps are before you call somebody, hey Moosey, then it can save you cash, usually between $100 or $150 in my experience. I used a different company at my old house. They charged $150 if they had to dig them up for you. This guy that came charged us $100 because we could not find ours. If you are trying to save money and you are trying to figure out how to locate your septic tank, there are two ways. First of all, if you have a crawl space like what I had, if you go under your house, you will be able to locate the main plumbing line that leads out of your home, and wherever it's going into is the general direction that your septic tank is going to be in. That's a little bit easier. If you're in a finished basement or have a basement home like what I have, you are looking for a pipe to come out of a wall. And if your walls are drywalled like ours, that's not really a possibility. So you're kind of left with going and finding city plans. So the health department in your area has to approve the permit for your septic system. And if you did not get a copy of that when you bought your home, maybe call your county health department. Sorry, there was a delivery. I had to go calm the dogs. I couldn't record anymore. Where was I? For us, it was this perfect storm where we had to pay that fee just due to not even having the ability to find our own septic tank. But that doesn't mean that you may not have that ability, okay? So my tip number 2 involves the insurance company and how all of this ended up being filed. Because again, not something even working in mortgage or dealing with how many aspects of homeownership that I've had to deal with did I know, which is that water backup like this typically is not covered under your normal dwelling coverage policy. And what I mean by that is that when you buy a home, you are obligated to take out homeowners insurance on that home if you have a loan on it still. So if you're making a mortgage payment, they require you to keep insurance on that house. And that is because in the event of a total loss, like let's say that your house burnt down, the people that lended you that money need to make sure that their investment is protected and that you can rebuild, and they still have the ability to recoup the money that they lent you. And so normally you have to have a homeowner's policy that has dwelling coverage of your house for the minimum of at least what your unpaid principal balance is for your loan. Ours was more. So we had $523,000 in dwelling coverage on this house. So what that means, knock on wood, all the wood, there's a wooden table here, knock on wood, in the event that my house burnt down, I would have $523,000 to rebuild this house with. Water backup, however, and this is the reasoning that the insurance company gave me, because it is being caused by something that is outside the 4 walls of your home. So they treat this type of water damage different than, let's say, a pipe in my kitchen wall explodes and completely floods my entire kitchen. Because that pipe was inside the four walls of my house, that damage is covered under my dwelling coverage. Okay, so that $523,000 cap number. Water backup is deemed to be caused by a source that is outside of your house, and because of that, they do not give you the same funds to fix the damage. So the max that insurance would pay for us to fix what happened downstairs was $5,000, and we did get the full amount because the damages were deemed to be more than that. The damages were deemed to be $7,500. Now, for us, it's okay, but the common person does not have the knowledge to shave off $1,500 worth of work being done to their basement, okay? And that's the most that they would give us, unless there was mold. If there was mold, we could get up to an additional $5,000 for the mold repair, but that was it. So heaven forbid if we weren't here and that septic problem had kept going and it had gone past that initial area and really flooded the entire downstairs, that would have been way more, exponentially more to repair than our little area. And then if it had happened during summer instead of winter, if there had been moisture involved, there's so many things, but just keep that in mind, guys. Make sure you know exactly what your homeowner's insurance policy is covering. Make sure that you know these things before things happen. And then you're in a pickle where you can't fix what happened to your house because your policy won't give you back the money for it. So again, you don't know until you know. People don't know things that they don't know. And as I learn things, I like to share them with other people in hopes to save you the heartache and woe of learning on your own. And so those are kind of my 2 tips for you. After we got done with the initial cleanup, the only thing that I didn't really catch on film from this process was Robert tearing up the hardwood. I don't think that I got that on video because at that point in time, I don't think that I had committed mentally to doing this project, but everything else we should be good with. So I'm gonna go ahead and catch up with you at the end of the video when I give you all the tour of the walkthrough of exactly what I'm hoping to tear down and move around downstairs. And until then, here's some super, hopefully satisfying footage of some some garage and some basement cleanouts. And then, yeah, I'll see you at the end of the video, guys. Bye. Hey guys, Melissa here. So, today we had our contractor come and go ahead and look around in the drop ceiling of the septic of the poop basement, and we found out that there are absolutely no load-bearing walls on the lower level. The entire upper level is completely trussed, and we are not dodging any sort of plumbing or major electrical issues. So we are officially given the green light to go ahead and start clearing out the basement. So until then, waka-cha, the magic of film. Whoop-a-da. Ho, internet brethren. So it is stupid o'clock in the morning. I got to sleep in slightly. I normally wake up at 2:30. I woke up at 3:30 and it is currently 4 a.m. It is still dark outside. You can see out my back window. None of my household is awake, but we're gonna get an early start. I did not actually get to touch our garage yesterday. I had all intentions of starting to clear it out after Quentin came. I just ended up doing laundry, and then I ended up cooking a nice dinner and just kind of relaxing last evening. But we're gonna hit it early today, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my greens made, and we will rendezvous in the garage shortly. See you then. My mom got this for me when I was really, really little. This was from a Jeff Dunham show in like the 90s. And his little foot, it's really, really messed up, but it says, to Melissa and family, Jeff Dunham and Peanut. And this is like an original Jeff Dunham doll. I would love to find a way to see if I could have him re-sign it at some point, but super, super cool.
We lose track of time.
about 6:34 now, so I've been down here for about an hour and a half really hitting it. I feel like this is where I need to be able to start bringing in stuff out of the basement into here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go make my second breakfast and now have coffee, because this is about, I usually get home from work between 7:30 and 8:30, so this is still a little bit early for me, but I need some coffees because I'm cold. It was like 24 degrees when I got into this. It was 24 degrees outside. This garage was pretty cold until that heater warmed up. So yeah, let's do it. Breakfast time, breakfast part 2.